Why do men take heartbreak so hard? Like, I mean, bad. Y'all ball up. Y'all be in the dark. And I'm not saying it's that, but and again, us women, yes, we will get the ice cream. We will not gonna cry. We will wait to exhale you. But men, like y'all take it to the cave. Like that's the real definition of a man cave. What is it about it?
Ooh, um, boy,
It's
I think
deep.
I think that when I think that the reason why is I think it's a lot of different reasons why. I
Hmm.
think that when men make a we truly make a choice and a feeling too. We make a choice and a feeling to love someone, something, whatever it is.
Mm.
And
It's a
so
choice.
it is very much a choice. I mean, it's no different than, like, for instance, a perfect example.
Hmm.
You look at guys who are athletes their entire lives.
Hmm.
Who don't go pro. So let's say, you know, high school, college, swimmer, basketball, football, and a lot of times they struggle with their identity when they finish when those sports aren't available, right? So
Mm.
the thing is that I think whether most men can articulate this or not, part of our when we're with someone, part of our identity is consumed with accompanied with that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when that person is gone, it literally feels like we've lost a part of ourselves.
That is deep. Did y'all hear that? Y'all know what it is. Y'all already know. Yes. Welcome to the Keepsake Corner, which is the safe space where y'all already know we talk about this, that, everything, and in between. Sometimes we get off topic, but we bring it back on. But hold on, Aaron. We got to do the toast, the guest toast. Hold on. Bring it in. Bring it in. I always come this way. Welcome, welcome.
First time in this space.
Yes. So look, it's the first time in this space, but if y'all follow y'all girl and y'all in the area, y'all know that he is the Kenya's keepsake mixer fan favorite. Okay, look, y'all, I had to retire him. Yes, yes, but this right here, this is a different space right here. So I got my boy Aaron here, and we are just talking about it all, y'all. So look, y'all heard him. Men, they Cause we be like, y'all hit hard. Like, and then after that, it's over. Like, for some men after that, they take it out, not take it out literally, but it's just like from them, that set the tone for the relationships moving forward. They don't care if it was at the age of 2, 6, 5, 7. We hear it. We hear it all the time. But then, there are people that are just, hey, take it. They learn from it. It's the experience, and it is what it is, right? So we are going to open it up. I have this question for you, right? Because you are divorced, right? And so now you divorced and you've been dating. Talk to me about this. Is one of my pet peeves. Y'all know your girl, these overused words and things like this. Um, what is one wifey duty that you think gets unfairly placed on women today?
Unfairly?
Yes, unfairly placed.
Mm, um, I think. Oh, that's kind of tough.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that oftentimes a lot of men come in with, and I've seen it, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But I think that men come in with the expectation of women to do wifely duties very, very quickly. And
Mm.
I think it's a little bit, and it could be something as simple as like just the basic stuff, cooking,
Mm-hmm.
cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
making your plate, and all that stuff. And I'm not saying that those things aren't valued; they definitely are. But I
Mm-hmm.
think there's a lot of men that don't earn those things.
Ooh,
Now,
earning.
granted, there's women who don't recognize men, the men that have earned those things. That definitely exists, but I do see a lot of men
Mm-hmm.
that come in with the expectation that, oh well, you're supposed to do certain like womanly, wifely things, and
Mm.
nah, you gotta earn that. I don't think that's just given. I think it's earned. I think, you slowly, step into those roles, but I think it's earned. I don't think you just come in and you just your girl take care of you like she's like you're the wife. I think women are auditioning for that. If you want to be married, you got to audition for the role, right? If you're a man, you got to audition for the role, right? You better show what you can come with, but at the same time, like you gotta it's earned. Everything is earned. I think everything is earned. I really do, especially as a man. Like if you're a man and you thinking you just gonna be handed things, like nah, you earn everything that you receive. So
Mm. So first, maybe, and I didn't ask this purposely first, the whole wifey duties, right? So again, the reason why I brought up the fact that you're divorced because you had a wife and then you're dating now. So that is like my question. What is wifey duties and what was it that was different? And I'm not talking, I mean, yes, it should be different, but I'm asking because the term wifey duties just it does something to me. For an example, I use this all the time. If y'all follow your girl, you know what I'm talking about. So you even mentioned cooking, right? Cooking will be considered for some a wifey duty, but for me, I just love to cook. Like I'm not trying to impress no man. I'm trying to beat Bobby Flay. Okay, you see, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to see what it how it is. And I just love to cook. So for me, I wouldn't consider that a wifey duty, but to some would. But again, you having both, right? A wife and a non-wife. Yeah. Did see bring that like back to me. Like first, I guess I know that was a lot, but defining it, if it's a definition, or what have you seen?
I know the traditional wifely duties,
Okay.
cooking, cleaning, sex, whatever. Like everybody. I think everybody knows most of the general traditional wife duties or whatever. Um, but again, I think it's earned. So like, I think that in this day and time, I think that things are much more convoluted than they were 80 years ago, right?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Where men went to work and women stayed home, and people who got into relationships, you married the girl next door, the guy next door,
Yeah.
you knew the family,
Right,
like
right.
y'all cousins were together for 60 years, y'all are gonna be together. Like we don't live in that time anymore, right? So, when you think about today's times and you think like, oh well, like for instance, let's say I had the expectation that, you know, in a non married setting, just a committed setting, that I have the expectation that my girl comes by once a week to clean my house.
Okay.
Right? That could be a reasonable expectation or a reasonable standard to have, depending on her life and also what I'm contributing or who I am or the way that I'm investing into her, right? I don't think, like I said, I think it's earned. So I don't think you just get that, just off the cuff, I guess. But at the same time, if you're dating a woman who, I don't know, is an attorney or a cop,
Right, right.
these professions that, require an exorbitant amount of hours and time, is that expectation even reasonable?
Right.
Right.
So I'm glad you brought that up because I had it here. Something down here. Y'all know I really don't follow my notes, but that was good that you said that. Because what is the I was trying to see. Boom. Are we confusing the duties with gender roles? For an example, is cooking. See, I got notes. That's why me and Aaron is here, y'all. I got the notes right here because I had, for an example, is cooking inherently a woman's job, or is it just about who's best suited for the task in a relationship? And then because you said it, like, I mean, I get it. First of all, everybody can't cook. That's why I be trying to beat by flat. So, does a man really? Seriously, now in my last guest, he said like this is what he said in his episode. He was like, it doesn't matter. Like I bring home the bacon, you cook it. So I said, what if she don't know how to cook bacon? He said, I bring home the bacon, she order the food. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like basically he's saying like it don't matter. Like my job is this and hers is this. And I'm like, I mean, I get it, but are we confusing duties with gender roles?
I think maybe, maybe. I think that obviously we know most of us, generally speaking, know the traditional gender roles, right? I don't. I think that a lot of times, if we actually go deeper into like gender roles, that a lot of times they kind of happen naturally for a reason. The reason why I say that is this: is let's take cooking for example, the kitchen in general.
Okay.
Like especially when if you're talking about cooking for a family, I guess different in a relationship versus cooking for a family, right? I personally believe that women inherently are more organized than men are.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
think that's the reason why, like, historically, if you go into any office building, most secretaries, receptionists, I think there's a new term for it. I don't think they call them secretaries anymore, but whatever it is.
Executive assistant.
Executive assistants, there we go. So they tend to, by and large, be women. And I think that, I don't know what it is about
That's
women
my trait.
that are, yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's got to be something just inherently physiologically that makes women more organized than men are. And so the thing is like as a person who, as a father who's a single father who's had to cook for me and my kid and make, plates for tomorrow and leftovers and all that, like me doing that, watch it versus watching my mom or my stepmom doing that. Like they just did it so easily. Everything was so organized. Everything was so easily put away. And then you walk back in the kitchen and it's like, dang, everything's clean. Everything's perfect. Versus for me, I'm like, I'm waking up the next day. I only cooked for 2 people. And I'm like, all right, like, how do I organize the refrigerator?
Right.
So again, I mean, I with what you said, I do think that even with that being said, I think that it does apply more so to who is best suited to do the role. I really do. And not only who is best suited to do the role, but given what's going on in totality in the household or whatever, who has the time to do it. So because I mean, I can't if my expectation of a woman is to do all the cooking and cleaning, but she works 60 hours a week and I work 30, like that ain't fair.
Oh man.
So
Look. Because so many things. That's why you see your girl started writing down her notes because we be getting off topic. We gotta bring it back. All right, look, no. Oh my goodness. That made me think of two things. All right, first, my best friend Krista, when we do Money Monday, she always says that because men always say that they're the provider. Well, that's another topic, y'all. Don't. We're not finna get into that right now because that's gonna throw me off, and then y'all gonna be like, you got off topic. We gonna provider. That's hold on, provider. Y'all see me writing this down. But okay, so she is saying that yes, in most cases, the men because the women are better at managing the money. So it's always this fight about men supposed to be bringing home the money and all of that. Like we're not saying that the women can't, but what we are saying is that the majority of the time, women are better financial managers. In that cases, what you think about that? That just made me think about what you had said about, I guess essentially who's better at what. Yeah. Right.
Okay. So I think that I mean, some people may consider this very controversial, but I think that because of the way that I think that generally speaking, if you look at the world in a different time, if you look at the world, pre like 1965, men are going to be better providers during that time because the world was just set up much differently than it is now. I think when you're talking about any sort of monetary gain, depending on the industry, I think that women can be, from a number standpoint, just as much of a provider as a man is, right? Um, I'm going to historically, when it comes to handling finances,
Mm-hmm.
I would say that historically, yes, I think that women are better at handling finances. However, today,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the United States, I think that that is so categorically false.
Mm.
And the reason why is because our generation of women, unlike my mother's generation or my grandmother's generation, this generation of women is more hooked on consumerism than at any point in time, much
Mm-hmm.
more than men are.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, I think that women, by and large, naturally don't know how to save and prioritize finances for the family or for their man or themselves the way that the women did even in the
Mm.
90s, even the way my mother and my stepmom and the
Mm.
other my aunts and the way that the other women did during that
Mm.
time, because they weren't as hooked on the certain aspects of cosmetics, or they weren't as hooked on
Mm.
driving the latest car, wearing the
That's
latest
deep.
clothes, and having to fine dine twice a week. They weren't
Mm-hmm.
they that generation just was not as hooked on those things as the women are. It's mainly, that's why they say, what is it, 80-85% of all advertisement is marketed to women, right?
Mm.
So with that, but it's because they know that women are hooked on these things. So I know I ran it, but generally speaking,
That's good
I
information
don't,
there.
yeah, I don't think that today's, unfortunately, I think that it should be that way, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that today's women by and large handle finances better
Mm.
than men do. I think men today are, generally speaking, are much more the savers and the penny
Mm-hmm.
pinchers, if you will.
Mm.
Because I don't hear, when I even when I talk to other married couples, and
Mm-hmm.
even in my situation and marriage and stuff
Ah.
like that, I don't meet every man that I meet, and it's a general thing like, oh, my wife's spending all my money, my wife's spending all my money. I never heard my dad say that. I
Mm-hmm.
never heard my stepdad say that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they definitely said things every now and then, because everybody has their
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but I never heard them say that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So and that's why, like, I do think that from a generational standpoint, I just don't think that that's the case anymore. I really don't. A lot of women may not like to hear
Mm-hmm.
that, but it is
No,
what it is.
as I am listening to you and as I'm thinking about some of my clients, my
Hmm.
my guy clients, that yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's crazy because I am wondering, no, not even wondering where the shift came from, because you said it,
Hmm.
the cosmetic needs,
Yep.
that I mean, outside of course, everything wasn't as expensive, and but it's not even that, it's the needs. We didn't need
Exactly.
um yeah, we didn't need all those extra expenses
Yeah.
that we had.
I
That's
I
mm-hmm.
think obviously, generally speaking, the previous generations were much
Mm-hmm.
more minimalistic than we
Mm-hmm.
are. But I think that,
Mm-hmm.
just for women in general, that has just increased tenfold
Yes.
in the last, even then, since the last generation.
Yes, that's true.
So even since the baby boomers, or yeah,
Hmm.
it's yeah.
That was deep, y'all. Tight. Yeah, that was some stuff. Y'all know I be having my own revelations up in here in the Keepsake Corner. That was some good stuff. That was good. My other thought that I had, and I always share my experiences too, because again, I be having my own revelations,
Mhm.
and it comes from everybody becoming coming for me about my daughter's father in that situation. But it's always like because people are going through this too. Y'all going through this now too. That's why I be sharing it with y'all too. But I also be thinking hindsight. So I was 25, I was 18 when we met, 25 when we broke up. But I say that to say one thing that you were saying about timing and who has the time and the skill, or whatever the case may be. So I struck when I tell this story. Some people come for me, and because I tell them that it was during a time when he was unemployed.
Mhm.
But I was still working full time, getting our daughter from daycare, cook coming home to cook, and everything else, and he wasn't doing anything. And for me, I was thinking that at least right here was my mind. You could X, Y, and Z. Agreed. Pick up the baby, cook, or whatever. Some would argue that I put him into a housewife role.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but
Okay.
I think that, however, I think that if that is the role that you have to play for the sake of fairness, then that's just what you got to do. You don't get to sit here and go, well, you know, I don't have a job right now, so my girl got to work and we got a kid, but then she has to come home and do all the woman. No, 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 no. It don't work like that.
Right.
In my opinion, it don't work like that. No matter what is going on, you gotta earn your keep. And I feel like any man that don't want to earn his keep is a weak man.
Yeah,
Like,
write that
I
down.
mean, I don't even
Earn
personally.
your
I have and I will tell my daughter this when she becomes an adult. I think that any man that has a mindset, and this is a mindset. If you have a mindset of 50-50, especially financially, I think that that's extremely weak. Now, the thing is
Oh,
that
this is good.
the thing is that granted, we're in a time where, yeah, we might have to go 50-50. But what you have to do in your mindset is not always the same. Right? So when I hear about women say, "Oh, I met a guy and he's talking about going 50-50," and I'm like, "Okay, well, is his mindset to provide for you, and it's just necessary for y'all to go 50-50 because of what's going on and what, the financial structure of the world is expensive to live right now, especially
Right.
depending on where you live."
Right.
But the thing is that I think that as a man, if you're okay with everything being split down the middle, I just personally think I think if you're okay with that, I think it's weak.
So, oh my God, I'm glad you said that because again, with my story, I get people that come for me like, you didn't try, and what was you didn't stick it out, and blah, blah, blah. And of course, 7 years is a long time to try to break up in bits and pieces. But ultimately, that was my deal breaker, right? Now, Grant, let's go back to the 50-50 part. It was something else I wanted to talk about. But let's go back to the 50-50 part about that. When I got pregnant, I decided to move out. I didn't have to. I could have lived with my parents today, like up to this day, but he couldn't move in. So we decided to move out. Okay, fine, whatever. I was working, everything. It wasn't nothing. But I don't know where 50-50 came from. I got to be honest. Like, I mean, I grew up in a loving two-parent home. I don't know what they did. All I know is my mother taught me finances. Both of them worked like full time. They had careers, both of them on their job for years, since we were little. We knew it. So everybody. So I don't know. I don't know, was it society? I have no idea, right?
Yeah.
So that was cool. I mean, it worked. However it worked out. I mean, again, we were 18, 19 years old. 19, we were 19 years old. 19 1 into 20, right? So, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it was at a point where he was unemployed. Going back to that story. So guess what? Of course, I'm doing more than 50, whatever it got to be. I don't care. This is what we got to do. I'm pretty sure he was getting unemployment at the time, whatever. Then I'm still going to work. I'm doing this. I'm raising our daughter. I'm cooking. I'm cleaning. Now again, I like cooking. That's not a problem, but hey, every time, or you couldn't even get the kids, so I could come home early, so I could start dinner early. However it went. So then, all right, now I'm helping you look for a job. So now I done added that to my task when I come home and doing all of that, right? Then and so what are you doing? But then again, people would argue that I again put them into a itch mode, me a teeth route, right?
Yeah.
But again, why not? So, but here's where I'm going to my deal breaker where it came out. When he did get money, And I'm talking an abundance, not just a job, because you got jobs. So when you get a job, he went back 50 50. All right, so you pick that back up, whatever. But when you got extra money from some abundance, you didn't do extra.
Yeah, that's
it was
crazy.
Still 50-50,
That's
y'all.
crazy.
Like it was no extra pair of shoes, no extra, don't worry about it this month or nothing. He took that as luxurious and ran with the boys and still did 50-50. So you see where it's just like you said, the mindset. So that hit home because I get it. Because of course at 18, 19, 24 or whatever, I was like, oh, your mindset. For me, I was just like, oh, bet. Bet. Like it would, I didn't even have to ask. It wasn't, I didn't want to ask. I wasn't like, you got this money, like run it. No, nothing.
Yeah.
You just didn't.
Yeah.
That was it for your girl, y'all. Like y'all keep asking, like, oh my God, y'all didn't try, and y'all get the bits and pieces of it. But for real, like, and again, y'all, it's not about money, because that's not what we're talking about. No, because essentially, what it unless you want to comment on that, because I want to have a follow-up question for that.
I think it's not just about money, but yeah.
Right.
I think it's not just about. I think people get it confused with just being financed. I mean, I don't know. Like I saw growing up in two households, both very functional households. I saw, you know, my mom and my stepdad, they both worked. But their dynamic was very, very interesting and unlike most people who I see. I mean, my stepdad didn't cook. Man, just didn't cook.
Right.
Every now and then, my mom would go out of town. I'd be like, "You leaving us home?"
Right. Yeah.
My stepdad didn't cook, right? So my mom did most of the cooking. But the thing is, my stepdad still did the man chores. He mowed the lawn. He washed the cars. But other than the kitchen, my stepdad also predominantly cleaned the house.
I like men chores.
Yeah.
I like that better than like I mean, I know gender roles are gender roles.
Yeah.
But I like that better because like I feel like that's the equivalent to the cooking and the cleaning. Cause trust me, I desire a man to wash.
Exactly.
Like I want a man to wash my, and you know, oh my God, I be having like moments, y'all. Look. Dang, wait, man chores. That's what I was saying. Cause this began because I was gonna talk about because you're a father of a daughter and dang it. No, I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're fine.
Look, y'all know I be having my
No, you're
moments.
good.
Okay, look, so because that's the thing, because I was gonna say that like I want the man to watch the cars in the morning, but it just hit me. That's because that's what my daddy did.
Exactly.
Like from a little girl, like every single car, he lined it up. He had the buckets outside, the water hose, and just and like that is his pet peeve. If your car is dirty, and then even as an adult, and even for my daughter, like we will roll up to his house just to visit. He will be disgusted. We will be going in there to like probably steal something out the refrigerator. You know, to we will be thinking we're about to leave. That car will be soapy, like music blasting. And so for me, like I've always, oh my, I'm a man sure.
Yeah.
A man, because guess what? I ain't never seen my mama wash a car.
And she shouldn't have to.
And I ain't saying she wasn't, and she don't know how. Because Val will get out there and do some stuff. But I ain't never seen my mom. Like, so oh my God, that was, oh, y'all know your girl. Yeah. But that was good to transition because I want to say, like, I haven't had many yes, I have fathers of, but Jade is young and like you're involved, like very involved. And like, so bringing it back, because I'm a daddy's girl, and I always tell, you know, people like, it's from what I saw, and it's not necessarily a comparison, but it's just what I saw. Yeah. So it's like, so that's what I wanted to go back to. Even I know we got off of the wifey duties. Oh, but you were saying like because before we went on air, you were saying like what you teaching Jade and stuff like that. Definitely. So like just get into there, because I can't even be like lessons. Like I'm like, oh my God. So my dad sat me down and he was like, lesson 37.
Oh, we're doing
it's
that.
The
I ain't started yet. I ain't started yet. Very, very little.
Okay.
I told her very little things, but we're gonna get there.
Okay, but like about how it's expressed though, like I was gonna say, like he never said it, but
Yeah.
it was there some kind of way.
Exactly.
But yeah, let's talk about how you show Jade.
Well, I intend to really like not just show her, but also tell her.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is right now, she's 7. So like little things I tell her, I'm like, because she's said, I'm gonna get married one day. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, she's just getting to the point where she realizes she can't marry her dad. So now I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, you have to find someone who treats you the way that daddy treats you and makes you feel the way that daddy makes you feel. And also, and just as equally important, you have to learn how to treat them well too. And that's something that I'm going to teach you how to do as you get older. So, because the thing is that I firmly believe I've had these conversations with a lot of people before. I believe that as women, and then with regard to the way they pick men, right? You can see if a man is a husband or not by the time he's 15 years old. By the time maybe even earlier. This book, y'all. Maybe even earlier. Husband by 15. Yeah. Go ahead. I honestly think so, and I think that you see it in the way that they raise, the way that they treat someone, their character, their demeanor. But I think that generally young girls are not taught when like men don't speak on it anymore. Just I mean, I'm sure your dad may have said some things to you, but I think that like because we don't live in a time where everybody marries the person next door, I think you got to be very intentional and let them know, hey, this is what this looks like. This is what that looks like. This is the way it's supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to feel. This ain't how it's supposed to feel. Like and this is who not only teaching them what they're supposed to have, but who and what they're supposed to be. Because you can't just say, oh, well, you deserve the world when you don't know how to give that world back, right? And that's I think that's what we see a lot of out here. We see a lot of people who date very selfishly, right? We don't most people in general don't know how to reciprocate and don't understand that, hey, generally speaking, reciprocating for a woman tends to look this way, reciprocating for a man tends to look that way. And obviously there's nuance there, but at the same time, like that's not what's being taught anymore. So we just send our kids out into the world, especially our girls. Because I mean, boys, I would venture to say that boys, women may come for me for this, but I would venture to say that just from a basic treatment standpoint, I think boys are taught more how to treat a woman more so than women being taught how to treat a man, right? So just and that's because like I mean our dads treat that teach us that, and our moms teach us that. By and large, you got a lot of men nowadays who tell their girls, don't be dating these men, don't be doing this. Like I think we create a lot of scarcity in our young girls. Whereas we teach our boys like, oh, you're supposed to have a lot of women and this and that. We teach our girls like we as opposed to teaching them the type of men to pick, we tell them what not to do. So there's that down. Uh-huh. Oh, that's deep. Y'all should be writing this down too. Y'all see, teach girls what not. Mm-hmm. Because yeah, I always say I don't I haven't had a lot of discussions. I am one of them that's just raised by sight, like sight and love. Like, I can't it was never those discussions from my mom or my dad. Yeah. I just saw, and yeah, growing up with them. So going back to it, that is how I knew that I didn't want to be in my relationship because I said that I was with them and I was trying because I grew up in a two loving parent home and I was like, this is what I got to do as well. But then at some point I was like, oh, but this don't feel like that. Like
and my daughter won't feel how I felt.
Exactly.
So therefore, like I have to exit. You know, and so it's the same thing. And light bulb moment. Because as far I can sit up here and say, like, I was never verbally taught, like, but I was shown. But I do both to my daughter.
Yeah.
Like I verbally tell her now, and I don't know if it's because of what I do. I mean, it's in me. It's in me, y'all. Like that's why it's what I do. But I do. I verbally and I show her because I do know, and what I have noticed that period. It is they're gonna do what they see
Exactly
more than what you say. You know, so it has to be a balance. So look, parents, let me tell y'all something. Make sure it match.
Yeah.
Make sure what you doing in front of your children's face is what you are telling them to do. Because depending on how they brain work and how they wired, they are going to do whatever they want to do, whatever one looks better. Not which one looks good, which one looks better to them. It's going to go this way or that way. So if you are showing them and you are telling them something, make sure it match. Parents. That's all I gotta say. Usually I put the camera on me, but I'm not gonna do it. I feel like pushing that button. But that's important. But I think now in today's verbalizing too, because maybe back then like they didn't have to tell me, like they didn't have to. Oh, that's good.
I don't think they knew how to. That generation, especially the men, they weren't raised to communicate. I was barely raised to communicate, but I mean, you know, it's one of those things that I think it's a generational thing. Like our generation has been taught how to communicate much better, especially the men. Like girls were always taught how to communicate, but boys, like we're only in recent times that boys been kind of encouraged to learn how to communicate.
Listen, so, you know, because you have been around for years, and you remember. I don't even know what year your first mixer was. Back then, it was the catch and keep.
2016.
Oh,
yeah.
Bum it. That's when your girl started. Hey, so I got me original in here. So if you remember, like it would just be you and maybe one other guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
it was like 12 girls and 2 guys.
Man, back then, but now y'all in there.
Yeah.
Like now it is probably about 4, 5, and then I got them. Like they come, like y'all are coming out. Like y'all are express. No, Diddy. I be on the see because y'all in there, the internet be tripping. I be on to say that they are coming out. They're being more expressive. No, you know, y'all. I'm finna mess with y'all. Y'all know, y'all got stuff to say.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I'm saying, and it's been very good and refreshing. And again, that's why your girl here has the Keepsake Korner because I want my fellas to be here in a safe space, uninterrupted. You know, because we're all getting some. Y'all see me? I don't have my light bulb moments. Oh, that's my light bulb. I ain't even realized that. That's my little light bulb up there, y'all. Y'all see that? But yes. So oh my God, that's good. What else? Oh, so this is a good one. What else are you um predicting to teach her, Jade, that is? Like what's on your I mean, I know life comes, you don't know what's the unexpected, but like what's on your list? Like, oh, this for sure is what I gotta let her know.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I think a lot of just maybe girls, women are not taught, and I still got to do more reading up on how to teach it, is the ability to have poise. Um, I think poise in general is such an underrated skill to have, especially for a woman. Being that, generally women are a little more emotional. A woman with poise can rule the world. I really believe that because you can't if if you can be, I mean, poise has to do, you can go down the emotional intelligence road too, right? But I mean, you kind of have to have one without the other. But if you can be poised enough to, learn how to deal with your emotions healthily, learn how to communicate healthily, even with those emotions, know how to receive even with those emotions, whether that's someone communicating a need or communicating correction, whatever that looks like. And also, it being communicated to you healthily. You can't, like, that woman, that girl is going to be able to operate decently smoothly in a relationship. I firmly believe, because generally speaking, that's why people bump heads, is a lack of emotional control, a lack of poise. Right? That's why people don't get along. And I mean, I know that a lot of that stuff could be, it's overgeneralized because people have triggers and trauma, right, and all that stuff. I mean, all those things exist, right? But you can have trauma, you can have all kinds of trauma, but if you have poise and you're still able to listen and you're able to deal with that trauma, I mean, the world is your oyster in the relationship department, in my opinion, and even beyond relationships,
Right.
jobs,
Yes.
friendships,
Yes.
dealing with your parents, all that. I mean, it's extremely important. So that's one of the biggest things, is just teaching her how to have poise as a young woman and a young lady. Yeah.
And I'm glad he brought that up, y'all, because your girl, when she says she a relationship coach, that's me, your girl, Kenya, relationship coach. Y'all be like, oh, I ain't in no relationship. No, no, no. It's relationships all over the place. I deal with youth. I deal with family. I deal you co-workers. Y'all have relationships with everybody, your friends. And I say this in a lot of episodes and anywhere I go. I've had more heartbreak from my homegirls than I have from a man. That's a relationship right there. And that's something that we don't talk about enough. You know what I mean? And so there are ways to deal with every relationship that you encounter and that you're in. And as again, when you think relationships, you always like, oh, how to man and woman, how you need to fix that there. But like there's your friendships. People need to. I just thought about this. This is some good stuff, y'all. People really have to have. Oh, what do I want to call this? Friendship etiquette when they get into a relationship.
Yeah.
I need to know what to call that. Hold on, y'all remember that. You know what I mean? Because there is a shift and people gotta stop acting like it. Friendship etiquette. Like there is a way. Yeah. We're gonna touch on that.
Yeah, that's tough.
Because it's a lot of situations where the friends are an issue. Like I know so many guys and clients that I have who have issues with their like friends homegirls, like just don't like them, like don't want to be around, don't want to go to the birthday party with them, like because they're interjecting. And then on the flip side, you got some girls that don't like the homeboys. Like, oh, your homeboy is this, or not even that, just family members. Like, oh, yo, cuz, like whatever the case may be. So again, reason why I'm bringing it up, your girl relationships, all type of relationships. But also these are the things that we do need to teach our children too. Because again, so many fucking, like, what about going out on the job, your coworkers? How to deal with those type of things, or just how you run into people in the street. So many people are having altercations in stores, gas stations, just anywhere because they don't, have that. That's good. That was great.
You want to go on a friends thing? Because we can.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, wait. Hold on. No, we gonna hold because that could be a whole. You know what? That could be a whole nother topic right there. Hold on, because where we at? Oh yeah, we almost done with this one because I want to go back to because they always you be off topic, you don't get off topic. Back to the wifey duties real quick. Wifey duties and dating. Where's the cross? When is it okay? When is it? And is it just like the whole? And I get it. I'm not mad at nobody who dates traditionally and who's
Yeah.
looking for that. It works. Everybody is. Everybody isn't. One relation. Look, it don't even have to be. You can be the same person and date differently. If you find somebody and you want to date him traditionally, and then the next one you don't. That's your girl. But
Okay, but if we're being honest, if we're
Mhm.
going on traditional, then
Mhm.
as a man, I'm meeting a woman that still lives at home with her parents.
Oh.
And if I'm 37 years old and I'm meeting a woman at home with her parents, she's probably too young for me to be trying to be with. So with that, trying to find a 100% traditional relationship is kind of out of the question at this point in my life.
Y'all hear that?
It's just the honest to God's truth.
Because everybody want to compare. Everybody
but
want to pick and choose out
exactly,
of it. Like
exactly.
they, it's like the when you try to
Yeah.
like Chipotle,
Mhm.
like Kava, like whoever. Like you think
Yeah.
you got it all here,
Mhm.
and you like okay, tradition at the top,
Yeah.
and then a non-tradition at the bottom, and now you going down the line. Give me a little bit of that. Give me a little bit of that. Like
Yeah. Well, and the thing is I think as men, I think I think there are men who are looking for a housewife. And if you're an older man and you're not 22, 23 looking for a housewife, which most people ain't taught to do that at that age anyway. But if you're like, I want to have a woman who is going to be a housewife, it's okay to find that, but you also have to go. You're more than likely you're going to find a woman who at that point in time is probably working, doing something, being productive and taking care of herself. So with that, that's something that should probably be communicated very upfront, very soon, very early. Hey, I don't want to say first date, but at least by the third, like, look, if you're actually looking for something serious, hey, just FYI, I'm looking for a more traditional role where a woman stays home and a man goes out and makes it. Maybe we're not there now because we're just dating, but is that something that you're open to, if we get married and we go to distance? Because you don't want to drag that out, and then at month 8 and you're expecting her to show you some wifely duties, and she's working a full-time job and so are you, or whatever it is that y'all got going on.
right.
And it's like, well, yeah, by the way, like, I don't want you working by the time like, nah, it don't work like that. You can't do that. You can't do that. But then the flip side to that is, and I've seen this, is that you have women who have high earning potential careers or whatever the case may be, and then have the expectation that a man has the same and dotes on them and does things for them and everything, and that's cool. But then when that man, even if it's not like, them doing everything, even if they're just expecting like, small things, a meal here or there, and it's like they get the response of, well, I work too. You're gonna have to have some balance, because the thing is that you can't you can't be in the same we can't be in the same position financially, and I'm providing more for us financially, but everything else is equal. Like, and people, and this is the idea of transactional. People say, oh, relationships are transactional.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is that you don't want to reduce relationships to just being transactional, in my opinion.
Right.
However, like, and people say, oh, you're not supposed to keep score. No, you're not. But over a long period of time, a person knows if they're like higher or doing much more than the other person over a period of time.
Right.
So it's unrealistic. That's why I hate when people say that, because it's an extremely unrealistic expectation to have of not keeping score. You still got to do your part. Does that mean that you overly keep score, or no, it doesn't. But if you know that your partner is doing a lot more, be it financially, or it's no different than men who have the expectation of, oh, we're going 50-50 financially, but you cook, clean, take care of the kid. You can't. There's one person doing way more work. Right. So it's still the same thing. You can't have that sort of, in my opinion, you can't have that sort of expectations. But there's a lot of people that have that. On both sides, men and women. It just looks different. So, but I don't think it works like that. I think you got to find what works for you, and what fairly works for you. A lot of people can't. I don't know. I think we just got a selfish generation of people because they can't objectively see, fair or a semblance of fair. They just can't do it.
Yeah.
So I hope people change that.
Right. And also too, I think that they just it it's more people that are out there on survival mode
Exactly. Exactly.
instead of love. And that's why the transactional thing is so, because it is like, oh, it just hit people, unfortunately, thrive off survival.
Yes, they do.
Right? So therefore it's just like, oh, I can't give you nothing of me until you give me something. It's like, oh my god, I was finna say like Super Mario Brothers. Like, you know how they, when you juice them up, that's when they get like glow. Like it is like, okay, what can you do for me? Then you get it and it's charged up. Then you like, okay, now I can give you more. Like, give me more. Like it's always like, I don't know.
Well, the thing is that like, and this is something that I can attest to as a man in relationships that I've been in, is that I think that because we're part of we all kind of grew up, not me and you,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
most of the people around our age grew up in the fatherless generation, right? We're kind of part of that. And I think that what I have experienced in my life, and this could just be my pattern. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this. I'm sorry, get the mic. This doesn't apply to everybody. This may just be part of my pattern. But I have heard other people say the same. Is that I think that generally speaking, a lot of women in today's society don't know how to receive love from a man, and don't know how to reciprocate love from a man. So in their mind, I think it's hard for them to accept that, wow, somebody just does this for me or does things for me simply because of how much they actually give a damn about me. I think it's hard to internalize that. And because it's hard to internalize it, you don't even know how or want to reciprocate it because it's just foreign. And as a person who has experienced that many times, I've been in a situation where I had I know how to show love to a woman. That's one thing. Maybe too much, but I know how to show love to a woman. I think you know me long enough to see that. But the thing is that like even doing all those things, I've still had a woman question, well, do you really love me? And that's like, that's because you just don't know what love is. You just don't know what it is. And it doesn't make you a bad person, but you just don't know what it is.
Right.
And we weren't a lot of us weren't taught it. A lot of us weren't shown it. A lot of us weren't even, given the verbal instructions on what it looks like. And then the thing is we're not taking the proper steps. I don't know if you want to do therapy, whatever it is, to even learn how to receive that and feel it. Because you should feel when someone shows you love. You should feel it. But I don't think people are wired, men and women to a certain extent, are not wired to feel that. Unfortunately.
Oh, but also, and we're gonna wrap this up because we got one more segment, y'all. Because it just hit me though. Also, the people that don't know what love is don't know how to show love. So you can't show love to somebody, or if you're showing the wrong love, then that person don't even know that it's love because it's not love.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with that? Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, because again, like, love is another one that's thrown out there, but look, love. So yeah, like if one person's way of love is a toxic, I love that word, toxic love, then it's not like, oh, y'all see where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I think too that most women should know that a man's love tends to be very action based.
Y'all heard that?
Yeah, men's love. If a man don't show you that he love you by his actions, then I hate to say it, he probably don't love you. You will know by that man's actions because
Mm-hmm.
men generally speaking, we're solution based, we're action based. Good men who were raised right anyway. So
Mm-hmm. Y'all heard it. But let's get into this quick fire keepsake quick fire. And what that is that's the end of the segment. That means we at the end, y'all. And I'm just gonna fire off some questions
okay.
and you just answer them. Oh man, I had a good one. It was right here. This was real good. I think it says something like, "Ooh, what's one thing you've learned from a past partner that changed how you see yourself?"
Mm. Um, Change how I see myself. Um, I think that's a tough question.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, I think every relationship is a learning experience. So if you don't learn nothing about yourself, then
Mm-hmm.
I think that what I would say that yeah, I think I got plenty to learn and say that about myself. I think that um, I was in a relationship that showed me because of the way that I operated in that relationship, it showed me that I am a little more assertive than I originally gave myself credit for being.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and because of that, learning how to navigate that going forward and in relationships after that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's sometimes it's if you're being a man who's assertive, like you have to be very careful nowadays because it's not always received well.
Yes,
And
right.
I'm not saying I'm just overly assertive because I'm not,
Yeah,
but just
right,
more
right.
assertive than I originally gave myself credit for.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought of myself as more like, no, I'm just laid back. Whatever. But I'm not just laid back. I can be,
Mm-hmm.
definitely, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
not just laid back. I'm a multifaceted human being, as we all should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's the biggest thing that I learned. I think also too, I've learned that I've learned that I know how to communicate very, very well in a relationship. I
Mm-hmm.
do. But I will say that as men, there is such thing as over communicating.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oversharing. That's what we talk
over,
about
yeah,
all
and
the time.
I think I learned that the hard way. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's life.
Yes, oversharing. Y'all know we talk about that all the
Mhm.
time over here. What else? I usually try to get like two or three in. Ooh, lose your partner's trust or their respect. I know, I know, I
Oh.
know. That's I know.
Oh boy.
I know. This is good.
But it's so easy to do. It's so easy to do.
But which one?
Oh, well, I would say it's easier to lose respect than it is trust.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'd say I mean, sometimes they can go hand in hand, but I think
Mm-hmm.
it's easier to lose respect than it is trust.
Mm.
Um, I think that because the thing is that for us as men, like I think respect is probably the most important thing, whether we know how to communicate that or not. Respect is the
Mm.
most important thing, and it it's so in today's society, like with the images that women see of men and the way that they've been raised and everything,
Mm.
it's so easy to lose a woman's respect. You can just be yourself and lose a woman's respect.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy. It's so easy nowadays, especially. So I mean, sometimes you just gotta find the right person for you in that area. Because
Mm-hmm.
boy, you can sneeze wrong and lose a woman's respect at this point. So
Oh my God.
I'm
I
so
was gonna say,
serious.
do you know my life? The year was no, so look, and I'm gonna close because we're gonna end on this note. It was so bad. This was a long time ago. This was probably 10 years ago. But I seriously stopped dating a guy because of his laugh. Like his now, I know this not the I didn't lose respect for him. Like it wasn't a respect thing, but it just goes to how it sometimes it is that easy. Like it is, and his laugh, y'all, was it was annoying. I just couldn't. And then we went to the movies and he took me to see a comedy.
Oh, boy.
And we gonna end it on that note.